But among these spectacular artifacts is a pair of humble objects.
They're about 9 inches long and 3 inches wide. They're made of tightly wound palm leaves. The most obvious thing that you think of when you look at it is feet.
These sandals recall the ultimate tale of rags to riches.
This is the story of an iconic fairy tale princess, an ancient slave girl, and fate-changing footwear.
A fairy godmother, a magical horse-drawn carriage, and glass slippers. These iconic elements make up one of the most beloved fairy tales of all time, Cinderella. Throughout history, the story of a poor young woman turned princess who lives happily ever after has been told many ways. Perhaps the most well-known version is the classic 1950 Disney animated film. The cartoon was actually based on a 1697 French short story called Cendrillon. But perhaps the oldest version of the tale, and its most famous scene, comes from ancient Egypt. As the story goes, one day a young slave girl named Rhodopis is bathing in the Nile when an eagle swoops down and snatches away her sandals, like those found at the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology. Then the raptor drops the footwear into the open-air court of Pharaoh Amasis.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a sandal falls from the sky and lands in his lap. But it's an eagle carrying that sandal, which would have been an omen to him of good luck.
The pharaoh searches every nook and cranny of his kingdom to discover the footwear's rightful owner. And when he finally finds Rhodopis, he marries her.
Here we have the Cinderella story again. Instead of a fairy godmother and a coach, there's a magical eagle that transports that sandal to not a prince, but a pharaoh.
But there's something else that sets the story of Rhodopis apart. It may be based in truth.
We do have examples of fairy tales that have their origins in real places and real people.
So is the most famous fairy tale princess in all of literature more than mere fantasy? Cinderella, that classic rags to riches story, is one of the most beloved fairy tales of all time, with variations appearing in numerous cultures around the world. But the most intriguing version comes from a real-life event that happened not in a European castle, but in the kingdom of ancient Egypt. Scholars believe Rhodopis may have been a real person for one simple reason. Around 500 BC, antiquity's most famous historian, a Greek man named Rhodopis, visited Egypt.
The ancient Greeks had historians that traveled throughout the world and wrote histories of other peoples and civilizations.
Herodotus chronicled the life of a girl named Rhodopis. She rose from slavery to marry the pharaoh. Many modern historians suspect that over time, her tale was embellished with the sandals and the magical eagle. Perhaps this is the origin of the classic fairy tale.
It sounds fantastical, but who knows? It could have happened. We can't really say.
Today, these ancient Egyptian sandals, like the ones Rhodopis would have worn, are on display at the University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology in Philadelphia. They recall one woman's fate-changing footwear and a tale that is truly as old as time.